I'm Miss Ball, and this is my last video before summer break. And for this video, I thought it would be fun to share something with you that I've been doing since 2003, and that's teaching pottery. So I'm gonna take you on a little trip to the studio and show you how to make something like this on the pottery wheel. All right, let's go to the studio. Hi, here we are at Yay Clay Studio, and I'm gonna show you how to do some pottery and give you a little tour around the space. But before we get started, I'm gonna put on my apron because we're gonna get a little bit messy.
Luckily with pottery, most everything washes out.
These are our kilns, and they're on right now, so they're pretty warm. We've got Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear. So this one is firing our glaze work. This one fires our greenware, and then this one is for tests or smaller projects.
Here you can see the inside of the kiln. I'm loading in some pieces that are getting ready to be glaze fired. When they come out, they'll be shiny. If you look closely, you can see the elements inside the kiln. These are coils that heat up like a toaster. Before programming the kiln and turning it on, you have to close the lid. This kiln will get to 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit. This is what it looks like inside the kiln when it's very hot.
This is our photo booth, and we have a light that you can turn on. And you can put your finished pottery here and then take a picture of it with your camera. And the pictures usually come out really well. I took some pictures of my students' work up here too, and I'll show you those.
This year my students learned about pop artist Klaus Oldenburg and made these food sculptures.
This is our pug mill, and a pug mill is used to recycle clay. So if we put the old clay in here that didn't come out, then we get fresh new clay that we can keep using. These are our pottery wheels, so we can have a class of up to 10 people at a time. This is where the teacher sits, so this is where I usually sit. And I'll show everyone how to do the pottery, and then they can do it also. And I've got this great chair that has wheels, so I can slide around and help people. And today I'm going to show you how to do some pottery right here at this pottery wheel. I'm going to show you how to make a flower pot. So I have my clay here, and I'm going to wet my wheel. That helps it stick. This is called centering. This makes the clay spin evenly on the wheel.
Here you can see me centering from above. I always keep my hands together, and I use a little bit of water when I'm working with the clay. Here you can see me squeezing the clay into a cone. Then I push the clay back down, and then I'll squeeze back up into a cone again. Usually I do this step about 3 times, squeezing it up into a cone and then pushing it back down, and that usually gets the clay to be pretty centered and spinning evenly on the pottery wheel.
This is actually one of the harder things to learn when you're first starting pottery.
This clay is looking pretty centered, so I'm going to go on to the next step, which is opening.
This is called opening, so I'm making a hole or drilling a well. So that's going to be the inside of the pot. And now I'm pulling slowly back, and that's opening this pot up a little bit.
When you're opening your pottery, you want to remember 2 important things. 1, you want the hole to be in the exact center, and 2, you don't want to go down too far. If you press down too far, you'll have a weak floor or a hole in the bottom of your piece. It might look like a donut. Now I'm pulling slowly back towards myself to create the floor of my flower pot.
I have a sponge here, and I use this to soak up any water that's on the inside, and I also use this to compress, which is to strengthen the floor of the piece. Now I'm going to get a little bit of height. So I'm gonna squeeze and lift this clay to make it taller.
When I raise the walls, I start from the base and move up the wall of the piece. My hands are working together. I have a sponge in one hand and I squeeze and slowly move my hands up the wall. Usually I'll do this a few times until I get the height that I want. It's very important to move your hands slowly and carefully.
So I want my flower pot to have a little plate to catch the extra water, so I'm gonna make that next. And that's gonna be down here at the bottom.
I use two hands on my tool to push down at the base of the piece to create the drainage plate. Anytime I use a tool, I hold it with two hands, and that gives me much more control.
So this is gonna be a little plate, but it will be an attached plate so that the water drains out of the planter, but it doesn't go on the counter. This tool is called an angled wood tool, and this one's nice for shaping or cleaning up the base of the piece. I'm just doing a little bit of shaping now. Make my planter a little bit wider.
Here you can see from the top how I'm stretching the rim of the planter to make it a little bit wider.
I'm gonna go on the inside and push a little bit to make it a little rounder. These tools are called ribs, and these are good for shaping. One is wood and one is metal.
I'm using the metal rib to scrape along the outer edge of my planter. This is giving it a smooth surface. With my wooden rib, I'm going to press on the inside. This is going to make the outer shape a little bit rounder and give me a little bit more room on the inside. You can really see the different colors of clay now too.
So I'm pretty happy with the shape of this planter. So I'm gonna take my wire and I'm gonna slice. And that's gonna help detach it from the bat. So this is the bat. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit.
And now I'm going to pry the bat off the pottery wheel so this whole piece can come up and you can get a good look at the sides. And now before it goes in the kiln, I'll have to take it and put it in front of the fan so it can totally dry out before it goes in.
I hope you enjoyed going to the pottery studio with me, and I hope you have a wonderful summer break and that we can see each other again in person in the fall. Take care. Bye-bye.